I've been with my girlfriend Karen, 30F, for 2 years. We met at a board game night organized by mutual friends. I, 31M, remember being instantly drawn to her because unlike most people there, she was genuinely interested in learning complex board games rather than just socializing. We ended up talking the whole night about our shared interests in strategy games and true crime documentaries. After dating for a year, we moved in together in a nice apartment complex downtown. Our relationship was great until her best friend Lisa's divorce 6 months ago. Lisa and Karen have been friends since their freshman year of college when they were roommates. Over the years, they stayed close even though they took different career paths. Karen became a software developer while Lisa went into marketing. When Lisa got divorced, she coincidentally found an apartment in our complex, just 2 floors below us. At first, I thought it was nice that Karen could be there for her friend during a difficult time. Lisa's divorce was messy, her ex-husband had cheated on her with his secretary, classic, right? Karen spent a lot of time helping Lisa deal with the emotional fallout, which I completely understood. Things started getting weird last week. Karen and I were having dinner when she casually mentioned that Lisa had been showing her explicit pictures of guys she was sleeping with. She described one guy in particular, going into uncomfortable detail about his physical attributes and even mentioned specific things about their intimate encounters. I felt really awkward and just mumbled something like okay because I didn't know how to respond. A few days later, Lisa called Karen at 1 a.m. begging her to come to a bar. This wasn't unusual since we live downtown and Karen often helps Lisa get home safely when she's been drinking. What made me uncomfortable was finding out the next day that Lisa was at the bar with the same guy Karen had seen explicit pictures of. It felt really weird knowing my girlfriend was hanging out with someone she'd seen naked photos of. The next day, Karen spent almost 8 hours at Lisa's apartment. When she came back around midnight, she said they were working on Lisa's dating profiles for various apps. I noticed she seemed different, more secretive with her phone and distracted during conversations. Later that night, I saw her put a password on her phone for the first time in our relationship. Throughout the week, Karen started spending more and more time at Lisa's place. She would go there almost every evening after work and not come back until late. She claimed they were just helping Lisa process her divorce and get back into dating, but something felt off. Lisa had been divorced for 6 months already and seemed to be doing fine. She was already actively dating and sleeping with new people. Things got even stranger when Karen started talking about this guy named Mike who Lisa was seeing regularly. She knew incredibly specific details about him, where he grew up, his entire career history, what his apartment looked like, his gym routine, even his family dynamics. When I asked how she knew so much about him, she got defensive and said Lisa tells her everything about her dates. But the level of detail seemed excessive even for close friends. Last weekend, Lisa invited us both to a house party at her place. I didn't really want to go but Karen insisted it would be good for us to socialize together. The party made me incredibly uncomfortable. Mike was there with his friend Tom, and I couldn't help but wonder if Karen had seen explicit pictures of either of them. The way Karen interacted with Tom seemed oddly familiar, lots of inside jokes and casual touching while laughing. At one point, I overheard Lisa telling Karen something about Tom's pictures being way better than Mike's, and they both laughed like it was some private joke. After the party, I started paying more attention to Karen's behavior. She began dressing differently when going to Lisa's place, wearing outfits she usually saved for our date nights. She started going to the gym at odd hours, saying Lisa needed a workout buddy but never inviting me along even though I also go to the same gym. The final straw came yesterday. Karen and I share a laptop for work purposes since hers broke recently. While using it, I accidentally saw messages pop up from Lisa talking about sending more pics and Tom asking about you. I didn't snoop through the messages because I respect her privacy, but my gut feeling is that something isn't right. When I confronted Karen about the messages, she got extremely defensive. She accused me of not trusting her and said I was trying to control who she could be friends with. When I brought up my concerns about Lisa sharing explicit pictures of her sexual partners, Karen said it was completely normal for female friends to share everything with each other and that I wouldn't understand because I'm a guy. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this situation or if my concerns are valid. The combination of Lisa sharing explicit pictures, Karen's sudden password protection, her weird interactions with Tom at the party, the late nights at Lisa's place, and now these suspicious messages, it all seems connected somehow. Karen's behavior has changed so much in the past few months. She used to be very open with her phone and social media, but now everything is password protected. She used to tell me about her day in detail, but now her answers are vague when I ask what she did at Lisa's place. She's even started getting defensive when I ask basic questions about her plans for the evening. I really need some outside perspective here. Is this kind of friendship dynamic normal? Should I be concerned about Karen spending so much time with someone who freely shares intimate photos of their sexual partners? Am I overreacting to all of this? Update 1: After my last post, things got much worse. I decided to trust my gut feeling and started paying closer attention to Karen's behavior. She had been spending even more time at Lisa's apartment, sometimes not coming home until 2 or 3 a.m. When I expressed concern about her late nights, she would get angry and accuse me of trying to control her life. The frequency of her visits to Lisa's place increased dramatically. She started going there right after work and would barely come up to our apartment to change clothes. When she did come home, she was always on her phone, texting and giggling. If I walked near her while she was on her phone, she would quickly turn it away or lock it. Last Monday, she told me she was going to help Lisa with some work crisis. I found this strange because they work in completely different fields. When I pointed this out, she got flustered and changed her story, saying she meant she was helping Lisa with a personal crisis. She left in a hurry, wearing one of her nicest dresses that she usually saves for our date nights. On Thursday, I came home early from work because I had a migraine. As I was walking up to our floor, I heard voices coming from Lisa's apartment. I recognized Karen's laugh. I wasn't planning to eavesdrop, but what I heard next made me stop in my tracks. Lisa was excitedly talking about some new pictures she got from Tom, and Karen was asking her to send them to her phone. They were discussing intimate details about different men, and I heard Karen mention something about private messages and secret folders. I went up to our apartment and waited for Karen to come home. While waiting, I checked our shared laptop and found a hidden folder tucked away in an obscure directory. It was filled with dozens of explicit photos, both received and sent. Some of the photos were of Karen. I felt physically sick. When Karen finally came home around midnight, I confronted her about everything. This time, instead of getting defensive, she broke down completely. Through her tears, she admitted that Lisa hadn't just been showing her pictures, they had both been actively exchanging explicit photos with multiple men for months. She confessed that it started innocently enough. Lisa would show her pictures from her dates, and they would laugh about it. Then Lisa suggested they both make secret dating profiles just for fun to see what kind of attention they could get. Karen claimed she was just curious at first, but it quickly evolved into both of them actively exchanging photos and messages with different men. When I asked about Tom specifically, she got very quiet. After some pressing, she admitted they had met for coffee several times, but swore nothing physical had happened. She said it was just about the thrill of exchanging pictures and flirting. According to her, she felt alive and excited for the first time in years, which was like a knife to my heart. I asked her to pack some clothes and stay with her parents while I figured things out. She started crying harder, begging me to let her explain more. She claimed she would delete all the photos, cut contact with Lisa, and do whatever it took to fix our relationship. But I needed space to think. As she was packing her bags, her phone kept lighting up with messages from Lisa. I caught a glimpse of Lisa telling her to not let me manipulate her and that she hadn't done anything wrong because it was just pictures. This made me realize that Lisa had been actively encouraging this behavior all along. After Karen left, I found even more evidence on our shared laptop. There were chat logs with multiple men, including detailed conversations with Tom. While she hadn't met up with most of them, the emotional intimacy in these chats was devastating to read. She had been sharing details about our relationship problems and letting these men comfort her. The next day, Lisa started texting me, trying to convince me that I was overreacting. She said that exchanging pictures was normal in today's dating world and that Karen was just exploring her sexuality while staying physically faithful. She even suggested that I should be happy that Karen was choosing to stay with me despite having other options. Karen has been calling and texting constantly since she left. Sometimes she's apologetic, saying she'll do anything to fix things. Other times she's angry, saying I'm being unreasonable and that she technically didn't cheat because nothing physical happened. She doesn't seem to understand that the betrayal of trust is just as bad as physical cheating. I haven't decided what to do yet. Part of me wants to try to work things out because I do love her, but another part of me knows I'll never be able to trust her again. Every time I close my eyes, I see those pictures and messages, and I feel sick to my stomach. Update 2: Things have deteriorated even further since my last update. After Karen moved out, Lisa started a smear campaign against me in our apartment complex. She's been telling everyone that I'm controlling and emotionally abusive. According to her version of events, I forced Karen to cut contact with her friends and tried to isolate her. Some neighbors who used to be friendly now avoid eye contact in the hallway. Lisa even went as far as to tell people that I regularly check Karen's phone and control who she can talk to. The reality is that I never checked her phone until I found those photos on our shared laptop. She's conveniently leaving out the part about them exchanging explicit photos with multiple men. The situation got even more complicated last week. I ran into Tom at the local coffee shop where I usually work remotely. He recognized me from the party and seemed really nervous. After some awkward small talk, he asked if we could talk privately. We sat down, and he confessed that he had been feeling guilty about something. According to Tom, he and Karen had been meeting up regularly for the past 2 months. While he maintained that nothing physical happened between them, he showed me their chat history as proof of their emotional affair. They had been exchanging explicit photos and messages daily. Their conversations were incredibly intimate, they discussed their dreams, fears, and even our relationship problems. What hurt the most was reading Karen's messages about me. She told Tom that she felt stuck in our relationship and that I didn't understand her need to explore and grow. She complained about how I was boring and predictable while praising Tom for being exciting and spontaneous. Tom explained that he originally thought Karen was in an open relationship because that's what Lisa had told him. When he found out this wasn't true, he started feeling uncomfortable with the situation. He showed me dozens of their conversations, including plans to meet up that Karen had lied to me about, saying she was helping Lisa with various things. I finally got the full story from Karen yesterday. She admitted that while she never physically cheated, she had formed emotional connections with several men through their photo exchanges. She tried to justify it by saying Lisa encouraged her, telling her it was healthy to explore her sexuality while in a relationship as long as she didn't actually cheat. Karen revealed that Lisa had been doing this for months before her divorce, which ultimately led to her ex-husband discovering her photos and messages. Instead of learning from that experience, Lisa had convinced Karen that her ex was the problem for not understanding her need for excitement. The most disturbing part was learning that Lisa and Karen had turned this into a kind of game. They would compare the responses and photos they got from different men, discussing and rating them like some sort of twisted competition. They even had a shared digital folder where they kept all the photos and messages. Karen still doesn't seem to understand why I'm so hurt. She keeps insisting that because nothing physical happened, I should be able to forgive her. She says she's willing to stop exchanging photos and cut contact with the men, but she doesn't want to end her friendship with Lisa because she's been there for her through everything. Some of our mutual friends have started taking sides. A few think I'm overreacting because everyone's sex nowadays and it's not real cheating. Others understand my position and have stopped talking to both Karen and Lisa. The whole situation has become a mess of taking sides and broken friendships. I've been struggling to focus at work and can barely sleep. Every time my phone buzzes, I worry it's another neighbor or friend who's heard Lisa's version of events. I'm starting to think I need to move out of this apartment complex because living here has become unbearable. Update 3: I'm finally ready to share my last update on this situation. I've signed a lease for a new apartment across town and will be moving out next week. Living in this complex has become impossible with Lisa continuing to spread her twisted version of events to anyone who will listen. Karen moved in with Lisa temporarily after leaving our place. They're still defending their behavior, now claiming that I'm demonizing female friendship and trying to control how women express their sexuality. They've somehow turned this whole thing into a weird feminist issue, completely ignoring the fact that they were secretly exchanging explicit photos and messages with multiple men. Last week, Lisa's ex-husband reached out to me after hearing about what happened. He shared that he discovered similar behavior during their marriage. Lisa and Karen had been exchanging photos and messages with men back then too. Apparently, this wasn't a new thing that started after Lisa's divorce as I had originally thought. He regretted not warning me earlier but said he wanted to move on with his life and forget about the whole situation. Karen made one last attempt to fix things. She showed up at my workplace during lunch, crying and causing a scene. She handed me a letter detailing all the reasons why I should forgive her. The letter included screenshots of her deleting her dating profiles and messages showing she had cut contact with Tom and the other men. But she still insisted on maintaining her friendship with Lisa, saying I couldn't ask her to choose between her best friend and me. I've blocked both of them on everything: phone, email, and social media. Some mutual friends tried to convince me I was being too harsh. They argued that since no physical cheating occurred, I should be willing to work things out. One friend even suggested that I should be flattered that Karen chose to stay with me despite having options. The hardest part has been dealing with the isolation. Many of our mutual friends have chosen sides, and some who initially supported me have started buying into Lisa's version of events. They think I'm overreacting to what they call harmless fun. But they haven't seen the messages I saw or experienced the betrayal of trust firsthand. I've started seeing someone new who understands and respects normal relationship boundaries. It's refreshing to be with someone who doesn't need to seek validation from strangers online or share intimate details of their life with everyone. Looking back, I realize how toxic Karen and Lisa's friendship was, and how it poisoned our relationship. The whole experience has taught me to trust my instincts. When something feels wrong, it usually is. I don't regret ending things with Karen, even though some people think I threw away a good relationship over just pictures. The emotional cheating and constant lies hurt more than any physical affair would have. Karen still tries to reach me through mutual friends, saying she's in therapy now and understands what she did wrong. But I'm done. Sometimes walking away is the only solution, even if others think you're overreacting. I'm looking forward to starting fresh in my new place, away from all this drama and toxic behavior.